Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. In this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Teresa, and here's her story. Hello, Ollie. Ever have one of those moments where a random subject pops up, but you just can't stop thinking about it? I was watching a video about how sitcoms in the 80s were contractually obligated to do a going to Disney special. Yeah, I remember that. It was, the advent of product placement, really. It set off a firestorm in my brain about how easily led society has been. From laugh tracks to product placement, how do we even know where the power of suggestion starts and free will ends? From the time we are in school, people are rewarded for not only if they can parrot back what is fed to them, but how fast. It became teaching to the test, and independent thought or creativity was pushed aside. To create docile, complicit automatons, they want people who sit quietly and take orders. A fidgety student with a bright mind is the first to be medicated into submission, as a curious child becomes a curious adult. Yeah, and you know what the thing is? Luckily I was never medicated, not because they didn't try to medicate me, is because, and it has nothing to do with my mother being smart to keep me off medication or anything. It was a cost thing. They were just too cheap, to do anything. And I don't think they wanted the stigma of having a medicated child. And also, I didn't need to be medicated. I didn't need to be out of that house. And also, my mother thought, took it as a challenge to be smarter than the doctors or know better than anyone else. So she had to be the expert on everything. Not quite the plow horse material they're looking for. Come to think of it, there was an article that a company was trying to get their employees to wear a type of horse blinders so not to be distracted. A CEO of Merck, Henry Gadsden, famously quipped he disliked his industry being limited to sick people. He wanted a model like Wrigley's chewing gum, meaning everyone was buying it. So now instead of what do you think all those prescription commercials are about? With weird names and friggin' music and here's a minute of side effects. But if the tip of your dick itches and your right toe twitches, here's a medication to make you feel better. I never understand. Only a doctor can prescribe this stuff. So what they're doing is they're giving a bunch of friggin' idiots who are looking for something anyway means to go harass their doctors. I need to be on this medication. My knee itches. So now instead of personal accountability, people just demand medications for conditions they could do something about. Fat acceptance gave people permission to be slovenly and gluttonous when it used to be rightfully shamed. I've heard TV puts you in an alpha state even though your eyes are open, they are not moving. This makes the body think it's sleeping and just mindlessly absorbs information that you may not remember consciously, but on a subliminal level, it is retained. They say kids know more corporate mascots than ever before. This creates brand loyalty. They even have discernment. They don't know the cute animals and theme songs are really well-researched charlatans selling poison food and garbage products. It pays off long term because the companies make the trends. You don't need a new wardrobe, purses, jewelry, shoes every year. The reason they change the fashion every year is to keep people chasing it. Yeah, money. Now they have separated people from making clothes, growing food, and pulling together. The only fulfillment is in superficial comparisons. Right. You have fulfillment centers for fulfillment. It's run by Jeff Bezos and Amazon. You don't get fulfillment by life anymore. You get fulfillment from Amazon. These are the consequences of societal narcissism. okay, in your media, in your corporations. This is how it all works. Because societal narcissism is all about societal control. What to think, what to buy, where to go, what to wear, what to listen to. It's all societal control. The purpose of societal narcissism is societal control. There's no gratitude, so there's no worth. When I looked up some popular channels, a lot of it is just brain dead try-on hauls, makeup tutorials, handbag unboxings, and other meaningless nonsense. Yeah. And believe me, as a YouTuber, it's frustrating to see a lot of that. You know, some of these idiots with, whatever. I mean, do what you want to do, and I'm not in competition. But, like, when you're struggling for every view and you're struggling to do this for a living and you see people getting views or subscribers or whatever they have because of what they look like and, for stupid reasons. Societal narcissism, because people aren't using their brains and they're being told what to like and they don't know what to like. I think people watch videos like that so they can say they did and they don't look stupid to their other friends who watch videos like that. But nobody's really happy. That's the problem. I mean, that should be the evidence, and none of this is right, because nobody's ever happy. Because if you were happy, you wouldn't need the next big thing, the next new fashion. You're content. I find when I'm content, I usually fall behind on things like technology and fashion and because I'm happy. Those things don't matter when you're happy. That's the purpose of societal narcissism, as well as to make you unsure and unhappy, to keep searching to fill that empty hole with stuff. Keep trying to fill that empty hole with stuff. But what I don't think a lot of these people realize is all this does is turn us against each other and incites entitlement. Everyone just assumed the lights will stay on, food will be on the shelves, water and sewer systems will be kept chugging, presumably by the faceless unknown persons. So they become lazy of mind and body, just wanting something more stimulating, more exciting, more anything. Meanwhile, the people who are doing the thankless work are dropping out because there's no appreciation and everyone is treated as disposable drones. Yeah, you're talking about Atlas Shrugged. When all the doers go on strike and find a place where they can go and they can live and survive with each other, and when they leave these people who set this up, society collapses. You're talking about Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged being the novel, the long novel by Ayn Rand. I always laugh at the commercials that make everyone seem like work in itself is a fulfilling experience. They present it to a surrogate family of sorts where everyone gets along. They joke with each other and the customers. The truth is anything but. No, the only thing that's fulfilling is the paycheck. People work to get paid. That's what's fulfilling, and that's what, the dishonesty in all of it, which is why I can't stand commercials to begin with. Because they're so pandering and they're so insulting to anybody with a modicum of intelligence. Too soon old, too late wise. After someone is mired into an endless circular debt, do they realize the deception? Work is often hostile, with everyone stabbing each other in the back, crabs in the bucket to get the edge by any means necessary. People want fiery, engaging interaction, but they certainly can't do it at work. But then they leave, their waking hours and energy are now depleted. There is nowhere close to enough hours in the day to now build that second life. Not to mention being afraid to say anything subversive or untoward in private as well. With social media, employers not only own you on the clock, but your personal time. Workers are now stepping up to be Hitler Youth 2.0 and snitching on each other to curry favor. And that's how they wanted it. This is what I'm trying to... It sounds a lot like communism, doesn't it? It sounds like old Soviet Union. So when you hear the term McCarthyism, again, just remember Joe McCarthy was right. Joe McCarthy was 100% right. Communism took him down. Communism in the media, communism... Joe McCarthy was right because they accuse you of being what they are. And I keep making this point about Joe McCarthy. And if you could have stopped right at the point where Edward R. Murrow and the whole thing was about to come back down on Joe McCarthy's head, if you could fast forward today and show those people where this all ended up, I guarantee you there'd be monuments to Joe McCarthy, and Edward R. Murrow and the rest of them, okay, would be a dirty word. That's how the Soviet Union was. Everybody snitching on everyone. Everybody account. How was Joe McCarthy wrong? Where was he wrong in any of this? The media, Hollywood, government. And now we're at the point where citizen is turning on citizen, snitching out, and workers and complying on workers. Is reporting on workers for what? For thought crimes. A lot of the great novelists and historians ended up being right. Ayn Rand, okay, Orwell, 1984. You're living out a lot of different people's visions of the future all coming into one, whether it be McCarthy, Ayn Rand, or Orwell. We're there. So without real connections and interaction, people can now only handle their own echo chambers and hive minds. They can't compromise except to serve their own egos. Bring on the sex robots and virtual reality. Right. And when the sex robots come, okay, and here's what the feminists don't understand about like these MGTOW guys and the sex robots. They're real. They mean it. They're 100% real. Okay? What that's going to do is what they're doing is they're actually trying to weed out females. With all this push for female and the future is female, the long and the short of it is they're killing off offspring. Okay? And they're trying to replace you through virtual reality. How is the future going to be female exactly? They're walking you to your gallows, females. We now have claimed being sterile and eunuchs is cool, so when we kick it, the government gets it all, and opposed to those pesky families who deprive the establishment of much-needed taxes and revenue. Won't someone think of the bureaucrats? A decadent culture will always collapse under its own weight. The old, everyone wants to ride in the cart, no one wants to pull it gag. Conspicuous consumption is when you get your source of pride simply by how much you can waste. There were also slick enough to get people to pay for their own brainwashing. When TV came out, I'm sure it scored major bragging points to own one. So people scrimped and saved to be told what to think, what to wear, how to act, and what to be told about. Now that's power. It also made people feel out of it. They didn't watch the things everyone else was talking about. So they were weird if they didn't know about the latest episode of I Love Lucy or what shirt was in style. Name that tune. God forbid they didn't know the tune and were living in reality with practical and independent thoughts in their heads. That's why they want to be shut down. They want to shut down everyone and run I'm sorry, that's why they want to shut it down everyone who gives them a run for their money. Right. Look, this is what Orwell said. People were going to be distracted by beer, television, sport. Okay? Basically, you got Ayn Rand, Orwell, and McCarthy all being proven right at the same time, thanks to societal narcissism. Like my boy Mark Twain said, it's easier to trick a person than to convince them they've been tricked. Even though people are starting to stir from their collective stupefied slumber, the Matrix is hard to let go of for now. Please indulge me with one more quote by Rothschild, "Put me in charge of the nation's money, and I care not who writes its laws." Right, I mean, and if you complain about banking and the banks and this and the economy, and the first name out of your mouth isn't the Rothschilds, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know where, because it all starts and ends with that evil fucking family. As long as people lost touch with the value for value, everyone will just be ground up in the machine. The mainstream media does not hire people based on how smart or ingenious they are, but rather how well they can then read a script. Right, they're just script readers. They just make 10 million. What does the machine say? What does the machine say? Oh, wait. Assad didn't gas his people. That's all a lie. But the machine says this, and and if I read what the machine says, I make $10 million. I'll just read what the machine says. That's your media. That's your media. How willing are they to use their creativity for an agenda? They elevate who they choose and destroy who they like. The tipping point has been reached, and they want everyone scared and terrified to say anything. That's how they pick us off one by one. Your silence will not protect you. I snuck in another quote, but can't source it now. I'm on a roll. Soon as the social currency will be here, I really don't see anything stopping it now. Yeah, that Chinese-style censorship where you get social credits and they can stop you from traveling. They're already trying to start debanking people. Hey, listen, either we have a real attorney general at this point or we don't. We will see. Right now, our attorney general's saying all the right things, so we'll see if he does something about all of this, because we're at the breaking point. Okay, this is the breaking point. They are going to full on trying to impeach Trump on nothing, that shit that doesn't exist. Okay, because this is all it's all going to come to a head. We're at that point. I know I made this comment before, but the CEO of YouTube is the sister of the CEO of 23andMe. What the police used to need a warrant for DNA, we now pay them to collect. I say that since they admitted the ancestor hustle is just an educated guess you already knew. And the sister was married to a Google founder. They've already circled the wagons. Sure, they will throw you a bone if you if you're a, dare I say, useful idiot. But to be honest, working homeless in jail, killing yourself, it really does make no difference to the puppet masters. They stay paid because they aren't held accountable. They just take. Only the proletariat have their feet held to the fire. But in the end, I can't even blame them for playing the sheeple. It was our own greed that will be our undoing. They just exploited it. Yep. Because we're in society. Look, this is how societal narcissism works. And where we're at now is we're at a point in history due to societal narcissism that Ayn Rand, Joe McCarthy, and George Orwell have all been proven right. All of them. So, that's where we are. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and story, Teresa. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype or a phone call, or sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance.